Welcome, grab a popcorn, relax, you will enjoy this story, and please do not forget to subscribe to this channel.
Obina Johnson had everything. Big buildings, expensive cars in long rows, private jets. People stood up when he walked into a room. They clapped when he gave a speech. His phone never stopped ringing. Rich beyond what most people could imagine. His family owned Johnson Global Industries. People feared him, some worshipped him. But deep inside, Obina was tired. Tired of fake smiles. Tired of women who only loved his money, not his heart. The world called him brilliant, powerful, untouchable.
Your mother called twice. Your father called once.
Tell the investors tomorrow, I'm tired.
Then came the lonely nights. Every night was quiet. Too quiet. He lived alone in a big mansion with rooms he never entered. The lights were on, but his heart felt dark. His bed was soft, but sleep never came easily. He would lie there, staring at the ceiling, asking himself the same question every night.
Does anyone love me for me?
Obina had dated many women, models, lawyers, influencers. They smiled at his money and they laughed at his jokes, even when they weren't funny. But deep down, Obina knew. They didn't love him. They loved the billionaire. Then came Amaka. She was smart, charming, and kind. Or so he thought. He gave her his heart. He bought her a ring. He planned a future. But one morning he walked into his office early and found her with his chief financial officer.
Amaka, Obina trusts me too much.
That is his problem.
He turned around and walked out. That day, something in him broke.
Cancel the wedding.
He cancelled the wedding, fired the CFO, and locked himself in his mansion for days. No one saw him, not even his assistant, Ngozi. People thought he went abroad. But he stayed home, thinking, hurting, and wondering.
Was I not enough for her? If I was poor, would anyone choose me?
That night, as rain poured outside and thunder shook the windows, Obina stood by the glass and whispered to himself,
I'm going to find out.
He turned around, picked up his phone, and called Ngozi.
Ngozi.
Sir, are you alright?
Get me an old shirt, torn trousers, and slippers.
Sir?
No designer clothes, no watch, no car. I want to look like a man with nothing.
Ngozi stayed quiet for a second, then said,
Yes, sir.
Obina Johnson, billionaire CEO of the Johnson Group, had made up his mind. He was going to pretend to be a poor beggar, not to play games, but to find out if real love still existed. Obina didn't rush. He knew that if he suddenly turned into a street beggar, someone might recognize him. So he decided to take it slow, step by step. He stopped shaving. His beard grew thick and wild. He stopped wearing suits. Instead, he wore old t-shirts, slippers, and jeans with holes. No wristwatch. No phone calls with fancy people. No drivers or bodyguards following him in big black cars. He packed a small bag and left his mansion before sunrise. The housekeepers thought he had traveled. No one knew where he was going, not even his parents. They were in London for business. That made things easier. This was his chance.
Obalade, enter with your change.
He found a small room in a rundown part of town. The walls were cracked, the window had no curtain, the mattress smelled of dust, but he didn't complain. He wanted to live like a man who had nothing.
Every day, he walked the streets. He took up small jobs, pushing wheelbarrows at the market, helping carpenters, sometimes washing cars. He got paid in cash, small notes that he folded into his pocket. Nobody knew who he was, and for the first time in years he felt invisible. And strangely, it felt good. At night, Obina sat on the edge of his old bed, looking at the torn calendar on the wall, thinking about his life. The real him, hidden behind money and power. This was what he had wanted, a clean slate. He spoke only when necessary. He smiled at people who passed by. Most ignored him, a few nodded, some stared. But no one recognized him. He had always been private, even as a billionaire. He hated the spotlight. That worked in his favor now. Back in the city, Ngozi was working behind the scenes. She trusted Obina, even if she didn't understand this plan. She used elite dating apps to arrange blind dates for him. Each woman was told the same story.
You're meeting a man who used to have a good life but lost everything in this hard economy. He's now doing manual jobs and trying to start over.
None of them knew he was Obina Johnson, the billionaire son of Chief Johnson, the man behind Nigeria's biggest tech and real estate empire.
The first
Obina
date
met
came
each
on
woman
a
at cheap
Thursday
restaurants or
evening.
roadside spots, simple places with plastic chairs and hot food in foil. He always arrived early, sat with his head down, and waited. Of course, Ngozi had arranged one more thing: discreet security. Obina had 2 bodyguards watching from a distance every time. They didn't wear suits or talk in earpieces. They blended into the background. One pretended to be a taxi driver. The other sold roasted plantain by the roadside. Their eyes were always on him, just in case. Obina didn't want trouble. He just wanted the truth.
Could any woman love and truly accept a man he is this poor?
The test had begun. The first date came on a Thursday evening. Obina wore a faded shirt and jeans. His hair was messy. His shoes were dusty from walking all day. He sat outside a small buka that served jollof rice and suya. The sky was turning orange and the air smelled of spice and smoke. She arrived wearing a bright pink dress, heels that clicked on the concrete, and long nails that sparkled in the sun. Her name was Chica, and she was a fashion influencer with over 100,000 followers on Instagram. She looked around once, saw Obina, frowned, then looked around again, like she was hoping this was a mistake.
You're the one?
Yes, thank you for coming.
She sat down slowly, her face already wrinkled in disgust.
You know what? I thought this was a prank. You actually invited me here? Like,
It's quiet. I like the food.
I can't do this. Next time, please dress like a human being. Not like someone who just woke up from the gutter.
She left before the waitress even brought water. Obina sat in silence. He waited a few minutes, paid for everything, and walked home in the dark. The second date was more serious. Her name was Nkiru, a lawyer, sharp, confident, smart. She asked good questions, but something felt off. They met at a roadside spot where pepper soup was served in steel bowls.
You said you do manual work?
Yes,
What kind exactly? Daily pay or weekly?
depends on the job.
What kind of house do you live in now?
This woman is shared building.
She nodded, pulling out a notebook.
Ever been married? How many siblings? Where do your parents stay? What did you study? What's your last name again?
She didn't eat. She just kept writing. Obina answered politely, carefully hiding the truth. She wasn't there to know him. She was there to calculate if he was a good investment. When food came, she stood up.
I'll call you.
She never did. The third one almost fooled him. Uju was soft-spoken, polite, even sweet. She smiled a lot.
You know, I love humble men. I have a heart for people who are going through things, hustling hard to make a living.
You really mean that?
Obina thought, maybe this one is different. They talked for hours. She asked about his life, his dreams. She told him stories about growing up poor, how she understood suffering. Obina walked home that night. She held his hand.
This feels real.
The next morning, she texted, "Hey love, I didn't want to ask, but I'm in a tough spot. My rent just expired and I have nothing in the house to eat. Even a small help would mean a lot. I really believe in us." Obina stared at his phone. So that's what it was. Again, it's not even up to 24 hours after they met, and she is already making demands. Not love, just hunger for what they thought he had. That night, Obina sat outside his small room. The moon was full and dogs barked in the distance. He didn't speak, didn't move. He just sat there. His heart felt tired. He thought about the dates, about all the smiles that turned fake.
Maybe there was no such thing as true love. Maybe no one saw the man, only the name, only the money. And maybe that is all I would ever be to them.
Obina woke up one morning and just sat on his bed staring at the wall. The fan above his head spun slowly. The air was hot. His clothes clung to his back with sweat. His heart was tired. He had been kind, patient, honest, and still, every woman saw him as either a joke or a wallet. He picked up his phone and called Ngozi. When she answered, he didn't even greet her. He just said,
I'm done.
Sir? What do you mean?
I've tried. I've talked. I've walked miles in this heat, sat in broken chairs, eaten food from cheap plates, and still, nothing. No one is real. Maybe they never were.
Sir.
I'm just a target. They don't want me. They want what I might have.
He was ready to pack his bags and return to the mansion. But then Ngozi's voice softened.
There are good men and women out there, sir. I married one of them.
He went quiet.
You never told me about your husband.
He was not rich when we got married. We met when we were both broke. We had nothing but hope. And now, 10 years later, we're still standing. Happy. We have all we need. Don't let 3 bad women stop you from believing in the one good one.
He scoffed.
You really believe someone can love a man who has nothing?
Yes. But only if that man becomes nothing for real.
Obina's eyes narrowed.
Fine, let's take it all the way.
Ngozi blinked.
Sir? What do you mean?
I will go out again, but this time not as a poor worker. I will become a homeless beggar.
Isn't that too much?
I want to see if anyone in this world can love a man who looks like he's lost everything.
There was a long silence on the line. Then to his surprise, Ngozi said quietly,
I'll help.
The next day, Ngozi brought a bag. Inside were torn trousers, 2 ragged shirts, a threadbare hoodie, and a pair of worn-out sandals. There was also an old sack, faded with tiny holes like something used to carry garbage. Obina put them on. He looked in the mirror. Even he didn't recognize himself. Ngozi adjusted his collar and whispered,
Don't speak much. Just sit, watch, and listen.
Good luck to both of us.
Good luck, sir.
Obina nodded. Then he reached into a small metal box and pulled out something he had prepared the night before. A folded check. It was signed. Amount, 5 million. He slipped it into the lining of his shirt. I'll give this, he said, to the first woman who shows me real kindness. Not because I beg her, but because she chooses to care. Ngozi swallowed hard.
Good luck, sir.
Obina took his sack and left. He sat near market gates, bus stops, and busy junctions in the heart of the city. His clothes were dusty. His hair was wild. He didn't speak unless spoken to. People walked past. Some looked at him with pity. Others laughed. Some dropped coins. Most ignored him. Hours passed. Those days. The world moved around him like a rushing river, but Obina stayed still, waiting, watching, hoping. Obina spent the next few days sitting in silence. From dawn till dusk, he changed locations, sometimes by the roadside, other times at bus parks or market entrances. People passed him every minute. Some whispered, some laughed. Some looked through him like he didn't exist. A few dropped coins. One woman even threw bread at him like he was a dog.
Take, before you people say nobody helped you.
Thank you.
But what broke him the most were the ones who pretended to care. There was one girl, Nika, who stopped beside him, smiled sweetly, and said,
Aw, you look like you've been through a lot. Poor thing.
Obina looked up, grateful, pretending like he hadn't eaten that day.
Please, can I have some water? Or bread?
Nika's smile faded instantly. In?
You want to eat? Guess what? One smelly beggar just asked me for food.
Another woman, Kioma, sat beside him, took selfies with him, and told him to smile for the camera.
Smile for the camera, sir.
She uploaded the pictures with a caption. Helping the needy is a vibe. #blessed. Then she left without saying anything. No food, no kindness, just likes and comments. Obina began to wonder if the world had completely lost its heart. Maybe Ngozi was wrong. Maybe kindness was gone. It was on the 5th evening. The clouds were heavy. The sky was dark. Rain had begun to fall. Not soft rain, but sharp, cold drops that slapped the ground and soaked the earth.
Rain don't come! Quick, cover the goods!
Oh yeah, pull am. No time.
Hold that side tight!
It don't cover. Make me go.
Obina pulled his hoodie tighter. He sat near a tailor's shop, its wooden sign barely hanging, the thread and needle logo washed out by years of sun. Then she came. She ran across the road with an umbrella in one hand and a nylon bag in the other. Her dress was simple, an elegant lilac blouse and black trousers. She wore plastic slippers and had her hair covered with a scarf. She stopped suddenly when she saw him sitting under a leaking zinc shade. Her eyes didn't show fear or disgust, they showed concern.
Sir? You're getting wet.
Obina looked up. He was shivering. She opened her bag and brought out a small container. She didn't say much, just offered it to him with both hands.
It's rice and beans. I cooked it for myself, but please, eat. You look hungry.
Obina took it slowly, not believing what was happening. She also took off her own wrapper and placed it over his shoulders.
This one is dry. You'll fall sick like this.
Thank you.
She smiled.
I'm Chidinma. And you?
Obina.
Nice to meet you, Obina. I sew clothes, and I teach at a nursery school nearby.
He nodded.
You, Obina, just trying to survive.
I can see. Life is hard these days.
She didn't ask for anything. She didn't take pictures. She didn't look down on him. Just kindness. Pure and honest. After a while, the rain grew heavier. Chidinma looked at him and said,
If you want, you can stay by my shop till the rain stops. I'll be there sewing anyway.
Obina swallowed a lump in his throat.
No one has spoken to me kindly in a long time.
Then it's about time someone did.
He followed her to the shop, small, wooden and full of fabric, and for the first time in weeks, Obina felt accepted. That night the rain didn't stop. It kept pouring, beating the roof of Chidinma's tiny sewing shop like drumming fingers. Obina sat on a small stool near her table, his clothes drying slowly under the warm light of a single bulb. Chidinma boiled water in an electric kettle and poured it into a cup of tea.
Drink this. You'll feel better.
He took it with both hands. It was the kindest thing anyone had given him in weeks. They sat in silence for a while. Then Obina spoke softly.
I'm homeless. For now.
Chidinma looked at him, surprised but not shocked. He expected pity or judgment, but she simply nodded.
Well, if you don't mind, you can stay here. It's not much, but it's dry. And safe.
Obina blinked.
You'd let him sleep here?
She smiled gently.
Why not? My house is just around the corner. I come here every evening after teaching. I'll bring you food.
Obina felt something warm in his chest. Not from the tea. From her. He looked around again. The sewing machines, rolls of fabric, empty thread spools.
I can help you. With your sewing. Or errands, anything really.
Chidinma laughed.
You know how to sew?
I can learn.
And so, days passed. Obina helped clean the shop.
Cut fabrics, carry bags for customers, deliver finished clothes. Here is your order, ma'am.
Thank you, Obina. It looks wonderful.
In the evenings, he waited for Chidinma to return from school, dusty and tired, but always smiling.
No, Chidinma. Kedu.
Obina, I'm well. And you?
Odima. The work is steady.
Good to hear.
She'd change into her sewing gown and work until late at night, stitching, measuring, folding. Obina watched her closely. She was not just kind. She was fire and grace all at once. A woman who taught children all day and still had the strength to build a business in the evening. One day, as they folded wrappers and laughed at a crooked zipper, Obina said jokingly,
You know I'm actually a billionaire, right?
Chidinma chuckled, not even looking up.
Whether rich or poor, a kind man is still a treasure.
Obina smiled. He reached into his shirt and brought out the folded check. He placed it on the table. Chidinma looked at it, picked it up, and read the numbers slowly.
5 million?
She said with raised eyebrows. She looked at Obina, then laughed again.
You're funny. You must be practicing comedy.
She said, folding it and handing it back. Obina just stared at her, amazed. She didn't even blink. Not once did her eyes show greed. One evening, as they ate roasted yams and groundnut oil outside the shop, Chidinma looked quiet. Obina noticed.
You okay?
He asked. She nodded slowly.
Just thinking.
About what?
She looked at him, a little shy.
My family.
She paused.
My mom has been urging me to bring someone home. There's a celebration this weekend, my mother's 50th birthday. Everyone will be there, aunties, uncles, cousins, and questions.
Questions?
You know the kind. When will you marry? Where's the man? Are you sure you're not hiding someone?
Obina chuckled.
I know those questions too well.
Chidinma looked at him, her eyes twinkling.
I was wondering, would you come with me, just pretend to be my fiancé?
Me?
She nodded slowly.
I know it's silly, but I'd rather go with someone I'm familiar with than lie again or be mocked.
Obina looked at her. She wasn't joking. She wasn't ashamed of him. In his ragged clothes, dusty slippers, and old hoodie, she was asking him to stand beside her. He smiled, his heart pounding softly.
I'd be honored.
Chidinma and Obina traveled to her village early Saturday morning. She wore a simple blue dress and tied her hair back. Obina had trimmed his beard just a little and wore a plain button-up shirt with dark trousers. He no longer looked like a beggar, but he didn't wear anything flashy either. Just simple, clean, respectful.
As they reached the family compound, loud voices, music, and laughter filled the air. Her mother's birthday party was already in full swing. Plastic chairs were scattered across the yard, steam rising from pots of jollof rice, meat sizzling on grills.
They had barely stepped in when her elder sister Ifi spotted them. She wore a bright green dress, gold jewelry that swung as she walked, and carried herself like a queen. Ifi was a bank manager in the big city, and she made sure everyone knew it.
She glanced at Obina from head to toe, her nose wrinkled.
This is him? Chidinma, this is your fiancé?
Chidinma smiled.
Yes, Ifi, meet Obin.
Ifi didn't smile. Her eyes scanned his simple shirt, quiet shoes, and calm eyes.
You couldn't find someone more sophisticated? Or at least someone who didn't look like he borrowed his clothes from a bus driver?
Obina didn't respond. He just nodded respectfully.
Nice to meet you.
Ifi scoffed.
As they walked into the main compound,
Sorry about her.
Obina smiled.
I've heard worse.
Later that afternoon, the entire family sat around the dinner table. Plates clinked, drinks flowed, and conversations buzzed. Then Uche walked in. Tall, dark, loud. Chidinma's ex. He wore a designer shirt with the Johnson Group logo on the chest and walked like he owned the place. He greeted everyone with a fake smile and gave Chidinma a long hug, longer than necessary. Obina watched quietly.
I heard you're engaged. This him?
Chidinma nodded.
Yes, this is Obin. And what are you doing here?
Uche chuckled, loud enough for the table to hear.
Well, well. From the look of things, Chidinma's taste hasn't improved. And to answer your question, your mom invited me.
The table went quiet. Uche continued.
You know, when you left me, I thought you were upgrading. But it looks like you went from SUV to a bicycle.
A few people laughed nervously. Obina didn't flinch, but Chidinma leaned forward.
I would choose Obina over you 100 times. Because unlike you, he listens. He respects me. And he doesn't cheat with his secretary and then blame it on stress.
Uche's face stiffened. But before he could reply, Chidinma's mother cleared her throat. Her voice was firm.
Obina, tell me, what exactly do you do for a living?
Obina smiled softly.
I do little things here and there. Chidinma's mother wasn't impressed.
So, no job, no land, no car. How exactly are you going to take care of my daughter?
Mom,
Chidinma cut in.
I'm happy. Isn't that what matters?
Her mother stared at Obina.
Are you sure you're not manipulating her? Hiding behind kind words because you know you have nothing to offer?
Obina remained calm. He didn't defend himself. He didn't raise his voice. He simply looked down and folded his napkin. That night, after the guests had gone and the moon hung low, Obina stepped outside the house and made a quiet phone call. Just 4 words.
Ngozi, send it tomorrow.
The next morning, the sun rose over Chidinma's family compound. Everyone gathered in the yard for breakfast, laughing, eating leftover rice, and sharing stories.
Then a loud sound came from outside.
The deep hum of a car engine turned heads. A sleek black SUV pulled up, followed by 2 more vehicles. All 3 were sparkling clean, tinted, and clearly expensive. The driver stepped out, holding a red file and a small box.
Who is the mother of Miss Chidinma?
Chidinma's mother stepped forward, confused. He handed her a box.
Your daughter's fiancé instructed me to deliver this.
Inside the box, keys to a brand new car. The crowd gasped.
Wait! Is this for real?
Someone shouted. Before Obina could say a word, Uche stood tall, grinning.
Come on now. You know I had to do something special for the woman who raised my first love.
Eyes turned to him.
You bought all this?
Someone asked. Uche winked.
Supervisor for Johnson Group, remember? Life has changed.
Everyone clapped. Chidinma's uncles clinked their drinks together. Ify hugged Uche.
Wow, you're too much. Chidinma, this is how you know a real man.
Obinna stood quietly beside Chidinma. He didn't speak, even though he was the one who had prepared the gift. He didn't correct them, he just watched. Later that week, back in the city, Chidinma invited Obinna to a housewarming party. Her old schoolmate, Obi, had just bought a flat and invited all their university friends. Obi's home was bright and shiny, modern lights, leather chairs, and a big TV playing music videos. The girls wore makeup and expensive perfume. The guys wore loud cologne and talked about jobs in oil companies, banks, and foreign firms.
So, you work in oil? Yeah, in finance, you? Banking, the money's good. Ever think about foreign firms? All the time, that's the goal.
Chidinma wore a plain gown and flat shoes. Obinna wore his usual quiet clothes. They barely entered when whispers started.
Is that Chidinma? Still dressing like a help. She was the best graduating student, right?
Guess brains don't always mean money.
They laughed. Obi welcomed them with a plastic smile.
Chidinma, long time.
Then she turned to Obinna.
And this is...
Chidinma smiled proudly.
This is Obinna, my fiancé.
Obi raised her eyebrows.
What do you do?
Obinna smiled.
Just trying to make my way.
Ah, no company?
Nope.
No startup?
Nope.
Someone whispered.
He looks like he just came from fixing the generator at the back. More laughter. One of the girls looked at Chidinma and said,
You always liked struggle.
Nawa.
You really went from class to grass.
A guy pointed at Obinna's shoes.
Where did you buy those? The thrift market.
Another girl squinted.
Wait, wasn't he the guy asking for directions at the bus stop last week? You sure he's not a thief?
Obinna's smile didn't fade. He knew who he was, and he didn't need to explain it. But before Chidinma could say anything, Obi made a face and waved her hand.
Sorry, but I think he should leave. My neighbors are watching. You know how these estates are.
Within minutes, a security man appeared.
Please, Madam said you should go.
Obinna stood up quietly. Chidinma didn't hesitate. She stood too, grabbed her bag, and said loud enough for the whole room to hear.
You may have nice floors and lights, but if you think this is class, then I don't want it.
She looked around the room.
Don't look down on people just because you think you're better. You don't know anyone's story.
Then she held Obinna's hand.
Let's go.
They walked out, heads high, hearts heavy, but together. Chidinma held Obinna's hand tightly as they stepped toward the door. Her eyes burned, but she didn't let the tears fall. Not here. Not in front of them. They had mocked his clothes, his shoes, even his silence. But she didn't care. She was proud of him, proud of the man he was. He worked hard and had a kind heart. That was enough for her. They were 2 steps from the gate when it happened. Horns, lights, engines. The ground trembled slightly. Everyone paused. Through the wide estate gates, 3 black SUVs rolled in one after the other, their engines humming like lions. Behind them, 2 sleek sedans. The cars moved slowly, commanding attention. The music stopped. Even the DJ stood still. The first SUV door opened and a tall man in a black suit stepped out wearing an earpiece. He scanned the crowd, nodded once, and opened the second door. Ngozi stepped out, calm, dressed in corporate black. She walked straight toward Obinna.
Sir, everything is in place.
Gasps spread like wildfire.
Sir?
Who's she talking to?
Before anyone could understand, more bodyguards stepped out. People began to record on their phones. One guy whispered,
I think this is a movie shoot.
Wait,
That guy looks like someone I've seen in the news.
Chidinma's hand trembled in Obinna's. He turned to her, eyes soft. Then gently, he let go of her hand, took 2 steps forward, reached into his back pocket, pulled out a folded file. He opened it and raised his voice, not in anger but clear enough for the whole room to hear.
My name is Obina Johnson. The silence was loud. I am the CEO of Johnson Group, and only son of Chief and Mrs. Johnson.
He held up the documents, his identity, his company shares, newspaper clippings of his face at international business conferences. They quickly picked up their phones and began browsing, their hands shaking in disbelief. Photos of him with presidents, speeches, awards.
Obi's mouth hung open. One of the girls dropped her wine glass. The guy who mocked his shoes, he sat down, weak. A boy in the back had been live streaming the whole thing.
Within minutes, the video was trending. #beggar-turned-billionaire, #Johnson reveals. Obina turned to Chidinma. His voice softened.
I came to you with nothing, Chidinma. No name, no status. Just a tired heart and empty hands. She was frozen, tears filling her eyes. You gave me food when you had little. You gave me shelter when you thought I had nowhere to go. You gave me kindness when the world gave me judgment.
He knelt and brought out a small velvet box. The entire room gasped. Even the security guards looked surprised. He opened it slowly. A diamond ring glistened under the lights.
Chidinma, you are a rare gem, and I want to spend the rest of my life thanking God for letting me find you. Will you marry me? Let's make it real.
Chidinma covered her mouth, tears falling freely now. She nodded.
Yes. Yes, Obina.
The room broke into applause. Some people clapped awkwardly. Others stood frozen in shame.
Obi walked up slowly, face red with embarrassment. Obina.
Obina, I'm so sorry for everything we said. We didn't know.
He looked at her calmly.
You judged the packaging, not the person.
Then he turned back to Chidinma, holding her hand, his eyes never leaving hers.
You were the only one who saw me.
And in that moment, surrounded by silent stares and flashing cameras, Obina and Chidinma walked away side by side, not as a beggar and a teacher, but as soulmates.
Obina story, give me 2. Hot off the press. That'll be 400 naira.
From beggar to billionaire? Unbelievable.
Everyone's talking about it. Here's your change.
2 days after the housewarming drama, Obina held a press conference. It wasn't for business. It wasn't for profit. It was personal. Cameras flashed, microphones pointed forward, reporters whispered, waiting. Then Obina stepped up to the podium wearing a dark blue suit, calm and confident. Ngozi stood beside him. He cleared his throat.
I have a personal announcement to make today. One that's bigger than any company deal or contract.
He looked into the cameras.
I want to publicly introduce the woman who changed my life with a plate of food, a dry wrapper, and the kindest heart I've ever known. Her name is Chidinma Okafor, and she is my fiancée.
The press room gasped. Screens lit up across the country.
Within minutes, it was everywhere. Blogs, headlines, social media. Johnson's CEO engaged to seamstress school teacher. From kindness to crown, Chidinma and the billionaire.
Back in the village, phones started ringing. Chidinma's mother sat in silence, reading the news on her small phone, lips pressed together. Ify cried softly in the kitchen, ashamed of her words. Uche sat on his bed, pale. He knew. He had insulted, mocked, and even stolen credit in front of the real boss, the CEO of the company, where he was only a supervisor in just one of the branches. His hands shook. He didn't sleep that night. In the city, Obina had a surprise planned. He took Chidinma to a beautiful house with white walls, golden lights, and flower gardens.
This is yours.
She stared, speechless.
And this is your new car.
Then he gave her an envelope. She opened it slowly. 100 million in her name for her business, her sewing, and her dreams. Chidinma's eyes filled with tears, but then she handed it back. Obina blinked.
I didn't help you because I wanted anything. I helped you because it was right. I can't take this.
Obina looked at her, stunned. Everyone else wanted more, but she wanted nothing. Ngozi, standing nearby, chuckled and whispered.
I told you so.
Obina laughed quietly. his eyes still on Chidinma.
And I'm never letting you go.
Later that evening, Obina's parents returned from their long business trip abroad. The house was quiet when they arrived. A few minutes after they settled in, Ngozi entered the room with a soft knock.
Your son is finally engaged. I believe you must have seen the news.
His mother's smile froze.
To that nobody?
Her face tightened.
Her face
She stood up, pacing.
tightened.
She's a school teacher, a seamstress. She's not from our world, Ngozi.
His father stayed quiet.
She will embarrass us at international events. What will people say? People will say your son found love. That's all.
But Obina's mother wasn't having it.
She is not his equal.
She folded the article and threw it on the table.
This is not over.
The next morning, Obina sat across from his parents in the grand living room of the Johnson mansion. Sunlight poured through the glass walls, but the air felt cold. His mother sat upright, her fingers tapping slowly on the armrest. His father, as always, stayed quiet, watching.
I'm happy you're back. There's something I want to share.
We already know.
His mother cut in. She placed a tablet on the table. It showed Chidinma's face, smiling, holding his hand.
But Obina, this can't work.
He looked at her.
She's kind, hardworking, smart. What more could I want?
You need someone who fits our world. Someone who understands power, politics, public life.
Obina shook his head. She understands me.
His mother stood up and walked slowly to the window.
The Senate President's daughter, Nena, is single. Her father is ready to give us that highway contract. Billions. Generational wealth. That's what we've worked for.
Obina looked down. His father finally spoke.
You can't let emotions destroy everything we've built. But we aren't poor. We have enough money to last several generations.
Yes. But we need to protect it with strategy.
She walked back and stood in front of him.
You want to throw all that away? For a girl who sews clothes in a wooden shop?
She's not just a girl. She's the woman who gave me back my peace. She made me believe in love again.
Obina, you're the heir. The name Johnson must stay respected. Think about the legacy. Think about the business.
He stood too. I've thought about it. And I'd rather lose everything than lose Chidinma.
His mother stared at him, eyes wide with anger.
Then that's your choice.
She picked up a folder from the table.
From this moment on, if you don't agree to marry Nena, you lose your inheritance, your company shares, your board seat, everything.
Obina's hands curled into fists.
I believe myself capable, and you know that too. My assets aren't all from the Johnsons. I'm not afraid to start again.
The silence in the room was loud, and the war between love and legacy had truly begun. Obina left the mansion that day feeling like he had been ripped in half. He had chosen love, but at what cost? His inheritance, his company, everything his name carried. That night, he sat with Chidinma in her small living room. The fan creaked above them. A single bulb flickered gently. She sat beside him, quiet. He could see the pain in her eyes.
You don't have to say it. I know what your parents said.
Obina turned to her.
I don't care what they say.
Oh, Obina, you've worked for that company since you were 20. It's your life. It's your name.
He held her hand.
You are more than all of that. I can start over. I have a lot of assets and cash. I won't go broke.
Her eyes filled with tears.
I feel like I'm pulling you away from your world.
You're not. You're giving me a new one. A better one.
But deep inside, Chidinma was hurting. She saw the pressure, the looks from people, the headlines, the deals are falling apart. She didn't want to be the reason he lost his position as the CEO of Johnson Group. The next morning, Obina woke up and didn't find her. Her sewing machine sat still. Her fabric pile was untouched. On the table was a small note, written in neat, soft handwriting.
I love you with all my heart, but I'd rather see you succeed than be the reason you lose everything. Chidinma.
Obina stood there, the note shaking in his hands. He felt like the world had dropped out from under him. Days passed. Then came the high society gala. It was hosted at the Johnson Towers. Gold chandeliers, silk curtains, press and paparazzi everywhere. Everyone important was there. Senators, CEOs, foreign investors. It was supposed to be a night of power. A night to announce Obina's engagement to Nena, the daughter of the Senate president. She stood near the stage in a glittering gown, smiling as the cameras flashed. Obina arrived late. All eyes turned. He walked in, wearing a plain black suit, no tie, no designer pin, just calm strength in his step. He walked to the stage and held the microphone.
Good evening, everyone.
Silence.
I know this night was meant for an announcement. And there is one.
People leaned forward. He looked around, then said clearly,
I don't want a queen from politics. I want a queen with a heart. The queen of my heart.
A few gasps. Nena blinked, confused.
My parents gave me an ultimatum.
He paused.
I chose love. I chose love now and forever.
He looked straight into the crowd, his voice steady.
If you can't accept the woman who gave me hope when I was lost, who made me see the good in people, then I'll step down as CEO tonight. If I can't lead my own heart, then I have no business leading at all.
Gasps turned to murmurs. People exchanged stunned glances. He stepped down from the stage, walked out into the night, head high, heart open. Meanwhile, far away from there, Chidinma sat quietly on the edge of her bed, her fingers trembling slightly as she held the small white test strip. 2 pink lines. She stared at them again and again. Tears rolled down her cheeks, silent, soft, not from fear but from the weight of love and confusion sitting heavy in her heart. She was pregnant. It had been 2 weeks since she left Obina. She hadn't picked up his calls, hadn't opened his messages. She had changed towns, moved in with an old friend, and started teaching at a small community school. Every day she told herself, it's better this way. He has enough pressure. He deserves to fly without worrying about me.
I'll raise this child alone, quietly, with love.
She rubbed her belly gently, whispering,
You're not alone, okay? Mommy's here.
But some nights she held her pillow and cried silently, because she missed him. So deeply. Meanwhile, Obina was restless. He had searched every corner of the city, called every number, checked every neighborhood where she might be. He even visited her village again, but no one had heard from her. He stood outside her old sewing shop one evening, the lights off, the air still. He whispered,
Where, Chidinma?
He had given up everything, but without her, even freedom felt empty. One quiet afternoon, Obina's mother was at a charity event in a small town. She had decided to escape the noise after the gala disaster, where Obina walked away from his legacy. As she passed a health center, she saw a familiar face, thin, tired, but glowing. It was Chidinma. She was helping a pregnant woman carry a bag of baby clothes. Obina's mother paused. She watched Chidinma from a distance. How she smiled softly, held the woman's hand, wiped her tears. She looked down at Chidinma's belly and saw the tiny bump. It wasn't obvious to ordinary onlookers, but for a mother with a keen eye she could tell. Her eyes widened, her heart stilled. She asked a nurse quietly,
Do you know that young woman?
That's Miss Chidinma.
That's Miss Chidinma. Sweet girl. She teaches the children here. She's expecting mothers.
Obina's mother stood in silence for a long time. The woman she had once rejected, the one she said wasn't from their world, was now carrying her grandchild, and carrying it with grace. For the first time in a long while, something in her heart melted. She sat quietly in her room that evening, holding a cup of tea that had gone cold. She kept thinking of Chidinma's face, the way she smiled through pain, helped others with nothing and carried Obina's child without asking for a thing. Her husband walked in, silent as usual, reading the day's financial reports.
I saw her today.
He looked up.
Who?
Chidinma.
His eyes narrowed slightly.
She's expecting. She's living in a tiny place. Teaching, helping at a clinic, you still standing tall.
He said nothing.
She's carrying our grandchild. And I judged her. All this time I judged her for not being born into an influential family.
She looked up at him, her voice firm.
But she has something money can't buy. Strength, loyalty, heart.
His face changed.
She's the right one for our son.
And for the first time in years, her husband walked over and nodded.
You're right. I have noticed how much our son has changed for the better since he met her.
That same evening, Obinna received a call from Ngozi. She gave him the address. He didn't wait. He drove himself to the small clinic in the quiet town. When he walked in, he saw her, seated, calm, hands resting gently over her belly. She looked up and froze, their eyes locked. Neither of them spoke for a moment. Then Chidinma stood up, eyes watery, unsure if he'd be angry or hurt.
I didn't want to disturb your life. I just wanted to raise our child in peace.
Obinna stepped forward.
You're carrying our child?
She nodded. And just like that, he pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly.
Thank you, Chidinma. I've never been happier in my life. I thought I lost everything, but I just found everything.
A few days later, Obinna took Chidinma to meet his parents. She sat quietly inside the luxurious mansion, unsure.
Don't worry, my parents will love you.
I hope so.
Then Chief Johnson walked up to her, removed his cap, and looked into her eyes.
First and foremost, I need to say sorry. I judged you before I even knew you.
Chidinma's lips parted in shock.
You gave our son something we couldn't. Peace. And now, a family.
His mother added. She nodded, too moved to speak.
Thank you.
Chief Johnson added gently. A few days later, Chidinma was sitting at the Johnson mansion, her hands wrapped around a warm cup when her phone rang. It was her family, not just her mother or Ifi, all of them. Her uncles, her aunties, her cousins. And they didn't just speak to her. They asked to speak to Obinna. One by one they came on the line, apologizing.
Here.
Okay, I've got it.
One by one, they came on the line, apologizing.
We should have reached out to you long ago, but we were too ashamed. We were wrong.
I misjudged you. I looked down on you. And now I have learned a valuable lesson. Thank you for loving her the way we should have.
Obinna listened, nodded, and forgave them with a soft voice. Because Chidinma's heart was big, and now his was too. Soon after, the story of Obinna and Chidinma was everywhere. Newspapers, blogs, news channels, the billionaire who was willing to give up everything for love, and the teacher who loved him without knowing his wealth or family name. Investors admired his courage. Shares in Johnson Group doubled. Old partners returned, new ones joined. People trusted him more now, not just as a businessman, but as a man with a heart. And this time, Obinna wasn't just the CEO. He was a man respected by the world for who he was, not just what he owned.
While Obinna's name rose, Uche's quietly fell.
As for Uche, his fall came quietly. No press, no noise. One morning a memo came from headquarters. He was terminated. An audit had revealed he had been moving company funds into fake accounts. Obinna hadn't asked for it. He was too busy to care about a supervisor from a small branch. He didn't even know. But karma had its way. Uche left in shame, knowing he had lost not just a job but his own integrity.
He was escorted out of the building, head hanging low. He left in shame, the same way he had once made others feel.
The sun shone softly over the Johnson mansion. The air smelled of fresh jasmine and vanilla. A long red carpet stretched down the aisle, lined with golden chairs and rose petals. White doves sat in cages, ready to be released at the kiss.
And then, the whole world was invited to one event. The wedding.
All right, team, let's confirm. The Johnson centerpiece placements are final.
The world had heard of this day. The media whispered about it. But inside the estate gates, it wasn't about power. It was about love. true love.
And Chidinma, once judged for her simple dresses, now walked the gardens beside the woman who once rejected her, choosing flowers together.
It was the wedding of the century. World leaders, CEOs, and a few distant royals all gathered at the Johnson Mansion gardens.
But Obina's eyes searched only for one face, and then she stepped out. Chidinma walked down the aisle slowly, her white dress flowing like water. Her hair was styled in soft curls under a veil, and in her hands were white lilies. Simple, elegant, just like her. She walked like the queen she had always been, now seen by the world. Gasps filled the air, not just because of her beautiful dress, but also because of the glow in her eyes. Ify sat near the front, tears already on her cheeks. Chidinma's mother held her heart, overwhelmed by the beauty and grace of her daughter, no longer a village girl, but a bride the world had gathered to honor. As Chidinma reached the altar, Obina's eyes filled with tears. She looked up at him and whispered, "Hi." He whispered back, "You're breathtaking." The priest smiled gently and asked them to share their vows. Obina took her hand.
Chidinma, you found me when I was nothing. You loved me when I had nothing. I promise to love you, protect you, and stand by you every day of forever.
Chidinma wiped her tears and spoke.
Obina, the day I gave you a plate of food, I never imagined you would give me your whole heart in return. I will love you in every season, in the rain, in the sun, in everything. With you I am home.
The crowd sniffled and wiped away tears. Even the cameras stood still. When the priest finally said, "You may now kiss your bride," Obina cupped her face gently and kissed her with all the tenderness in his heart. The doves were released. Fireworks filled the sky, and the crowd erupted into applause. Ify ran up and hugged her sister, sobbing, "I'm so proud of you."
I'm so sorry for everything. It's okay. It's all okay now.
Chidinma's mother embraced Obina tightly, whispering,
Thank you for loving her. Thank you, my son.
She gave me everything, Mama.
And Obina's parents, humbled and changed, stood nearby, clapping with pride. The wedding reception was held under a glass canopy filled with golden lights and laughter. Laughter, music, dancing, but most of all, peace. Chidinma and Obina danced slowly under the stars, the world watching but fading in the background. Because in that moment nothing else mattered. Only love. And their promise to keep it, always. Chidinma was no longer just a schoolteacher. She was Obina's wife. And together, they were proof that true love always wins. 5 years later. The Johnson Mansion was no longer the quiet, lonely place it used to be. The dark, empty rooms were now filled with light, colors, and the sound of running feet. Little Amara, their 4-year-old daughter, ran across the green lawn, laughing as she chased a tiny puppy. Obina stood on the patio, holding a warm mug of tea, watching them. He wasn't wearing a designer suit or a gold watch. He wore plain trousers and a simple cotton shirt. Chidinma walked up behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. "She has your stubbornness," Chidinma whispered, resting her chin on his back.
She has your stubbornness.
"And your beautiful heart," Obina replied, turning to kiss her forehead. A lot had changed in 5 years.
Much had
Obina
changed.
was still the CEO of Johnson Group, but the company operated differently now. It was no longer just about building luxury estates for the rich. Obina had launched a new division focused on affordable housing, public schools, and community hospitals. The board of directors had complained at first, but when public goodwill caused the company's profits to skyrocket, the complaints stopped completely. Chidinma hadn't just become a rich housewife. She couldn't sit idle. She eventually accepted the 100 million, not as a personal gift, but as seed money. She founded the Grace Foundation. Right on the exact spot where her old, leaking wooden shop used to stand, she built a massive, free vocational academy. It taught tailoring, tech skills, and business management to young men and women who had nothing. She was still a teacher, but now she had hundreds of students looking up to her. Ngozi, the loyal assistant who had kept Obina's secret and supported him from the start, was rewarded beyond her wildest dreams. She was promoted to Chief Operating Officer of the Johnson Group. She and her husband were now close family friends, often coming over for Sunday dinners filled with loud laughter and good food. Even Obina's parents had completely changed. His mother, who once cared only about high society galas and politics, was now completely obsessed with her granddaughter. She visited almost every day, bringing baked goods, storybooks, and toys. She had traded her cold, strict demeanor for the warm, soft smile of a doting grandmother. She loved Chidinma like her own daughter. As for Uche and Ifi had learned humility after her bank faced a crisis, and Chidinma, without hesitation, stepped in to help her secure a new, better position. That kindness broke Ifi's pride forever. Uche was a distant memory, drifting from one small job to another, a bitter reminder that arrogance never pays the bills. But the most important thing had not changed. Every year, on the exact date that the heavy rain fell, the day Chidinma offered a homeless beggar her food and her dry wrapper, they had a tradition. They didn't travel to Paris, Dubai, or London to celebrate. Instead, they wore simple clothes. Obina drove an old plain car. They parked near the street corner by the Grace Academy. They set up long tables and brought coolers filled with hot, fresh food: jollof rice, beans, plantains, and chicken. Together with little Amara handing out bottled water, they fed everyone who walked by. The street hawkers, the mechanics, the homeless, and the tired travelers. Obina would look at the people sitting under the shade, eating happily, and he would remember exactly how it felt to be cold, hungry, and invisible. He never wanted to forget.
Thank you, sir.
A young boy said, taking a warm plate from Obina's hands.
You are very welcome, my friend. God bless you.
At the end of the day, when the food was gone and the streets were quiet, Obina and Chidinma sat together on the hood of the old red car.
Amara was fast asleep in the back seat, exhausted from helping. Chidinma rested her head on his shoulder, intertwining her fingers with his.
Do you ever miss the quiet mansion?
Never. That house was a tomb. This is life.
He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small, wrapped carefully in a handkerchief. It was the faded plastic spoon she had given him with that first container of rice and beans 5 years ago. He had kept it safely all this time. Chidinma saw it and laughed, tears instantly springing to her eyes.
Obina, you still have that?
It is my most valuable possession.
It reminds me every single day that the poorest in the world is not the one without money. The poorest man is the one without love.
And the richest man?
Because the richest man is the one who finds his queen in the rain. And the richest woman is the one who recognizes a king in his most broken hour.